My name is Mary Kamau. I'm the Director of Missions of Hope International. Life in Mathare for orphaned and vulnerable children is quite difficult because what happens is that most families are not able to provide for the children's basic needs like food, clothes, and even education. And so what happens is that the children, after surviving the early stage of life, like maybe up to age 4, they start going around in the streets of the city to look for food by way of begging, or maybe going to areas where garbage is dumped or thrown, and they start going to look for food there. And then as the child continues to grow, they go right in the city center where they beg from the people they think could probably give them money. And sometimes when they are there, they get exposed to a lot of difficulties in life, because what happens is that some people don't respect those children, they kick them around. Other times the police come around and arrest them and things like that. And these children end up growing, being very angry with life. And what happens later on, they end up joining gangs as they grow up. Maybe even when they are like 10 years, they start getting trained by the bigger people in the streets, and they end up joining the gangs. And you'll find that even if a child probably had tried to go to a school, like a government school, this child ends up even dropping out of school. And people like those who sell drugs, they end up starting to use these children to traffic drugs, and also sometimes to abuse them, because most families get a salary like of an equivalent of $30 a month. What happens is that in a day, probably they'll have one meal if the parent is lucky to get a job for that day. And what happens, like you go to a family and you find that in a home, a typical family, maybe of 4-5 children, which has a father and a mother, will have one bed, then they'll have a few utensils and a kerosene stove which they use to cook, and maybe they'll have a stool on which they put the stove on so that they can be able to cook their meals. And so what happens is that as the children, grow up, obviously they grow not having a bed, not because what happens if the family has only one bed, then the parents are the ones who use the bed, and so the children sleep on the floor. And of course that has other effects, along the way. So you find that for a child, in Mathare, it's like they are not very sure, they are not very hopeful for their future, and it becomes very difficult for them to know what the future has for them.
Hi, my name is Sophia Wanji. I'm 12 years old. I've been in this school for 1 year.
My name is Anthony Mugendi. I'm 14 years old.
My name is Veronica, and I'm 10 years old.
My name is Waiban Mwangi. I'm 13 years old.
What would life be like if you weren't here at this school?
Some of my friends, they are my age mates. Some look for their own money. They collect scrap metal.
Oh, okay.
Some will go and look for somewhere where there's somebody who can give them a job.
Okay.
But they're too young.
So they don't usually find jobs? What kind of jobs do they look for? Like what kinds of things would they do?
Like they're employed to collect plastic.
Okay.
Take it to the boss. Then they don't know where it will be taken.
Others are not able to go to school. Others lack some basic needs, and it's like they have to go and ask for help from their neighbors. Life there sometimes there is violent. We have drug addicts. We have there are thieves. Sometimes you can't be able to walk at night freely. You get scared walking at night.
How is this school in Jessica different from where you live in Mathari?
Okay, the difference is that the concentration is too high, because when you are at home, maybe there is a war, or you find that me as a girl, I have so much work than a boy, and here you just have all the time to study, you have a good place to sleep, and you're so comfortable. Sometimes my mother don't have money to help me, but they provide for us food, everything, and it's like they are like our parents because they help us.
Here, there is good fresh air. There are very good beds to sleep on. You have time to revise, to do your preps, and you eat a balanced diet.
At home, I would sleep hungry.
Yeah.
But here, I'm eating every night.
You always get to eat? Yeah.
And then, there's a good field.
Oh, to play in?
We play.
Yeah.
And then, there's a good learning environment.
Children who are now going through the Hope schools, all the Hope centers, they are not going to drop out of school. Why? Because their basic needs are being met. Secondly, they are getting and they are receiving good standards of education, and school for them is interesting, in the Hope Center, because there is so much fun. There is a lot, they are able to see a lot and experience a lot of love, God's love, through the people that are working with them. And what I know is that these children, the children who will go through the Hope Centers, will grow up into being self-reliant, being responsible, and also responsive to their society. Because they'll know and they'll see what God has done for them. And out of them, I'm seeing doctors, I'm seeing lawyers, I'm seeing teachers, preachers, pastors, missionaries. And I can't wait to just see what God is going to do through the lives of these children.
Thank you, USA, for the support you've given unto us, for the bathroom you gave us, for the toilets you made for us, and for the money you sponsored so that we can have what we have now.
Thank you, Westside Christian, because you have helped us in very many ways. Thank you for supporting us. And I pray that every work that you do, God will bless your hands, God will bless the work of your hands, and everything that you touch, it will be a blessing to you.
Thank you, Westside. Hi, kids.